Hey, what's up everybody? This is Superwork501 and today I'm going to show you guys another AoE mob grinding spot in Shadowlands. And this spot is going to be located in Revendreth, and I will have a screenshot up so you guys can know exactly where to go. Now this spot is a little bit worse than some of the other hyper spawning farm spots that have been found in Shadowlands, but majority of the other farm spots have been nerfed. So this is one of the best, if not the best spot that is currently known. And the main reason this spot is a little bit worse is just the amount of enemies you're killing. The random group that I joined that was an okay group was killing around 2,200 enemies an hour, which is still a decent amount, but you could definitely raise that with a really good group. But if you put this group in the Maldraxxus farm, you're probably going to be killing 5,000 plus enemies an hour pretty easily. But one of the good things about this farm is that none of the drops have been nerfed yet, because a lot of people notice that, say at the Maldraxxus farm, that at some point they very heavily nerfed the amount of greens you were getting from that spot, which pretty heavily reduced the amount of consistent gold you'd be able to get there. So this spot still has all of the normal drop chances intact. You're still getting a good amount of greens, you're still getting tons of cloth. It seems like the epics are pretty much similar to most of the other spots when you're figuring in the amount of enemies you're killing an hour. And as the same as my other videos going over these hyperspawn spots, I'm not going to give a gold per hour amount because of how random it can be. You could go from getting lucky, getting 2 epics in 30 minutes and making hundreds of thousands of gold, or you could farm for 5 hours and not get a single epic, and your gold amount is going to be drastically reduced compared to getting any epics. But some of the numbers I was getting for this spot was around 4,000 to 5,000 raw gold an hour. It seemed to be on the lower end of that, so 4,000 to 4,500, somewhere in that range. Now that can go up quite a bit if you end up selling the greens to a vendor instead of disenchanting them. It's seeming that because of how many people have been doing farms like this, that vendoring greens is probably going to make you more gold now than actually disenchanting them and either selling the enchanting mats or using them to craft on something. And adding on top of that, this seems to be one of the spots where you're getting a lot more green BoE weapons than you are armor pieces. So it's pretty similar to the Maldraxxus spot. I would say in my experience, I was getting 60% plus of my greens were weapons, and comparing that to something like the Ardenweald farms, all the Ardenweald farms I did, I was getting nowhere near the amount of weapons as I am at this spot or as I was at the Maldraxxus spot. So around 4,000 raw gold an hour, not counting vendor and greens, I was getting around 700 cloth an hour, and then I was getting around 100 to say 125 silk an hour. And then in an hour with everything put together, I'd usually have a few dozen greens as well. So like I said, if you're going to vendor those, that's going to add probably a few thousand additional gold on top of all the raw gold you were getting. Probably in an hour, you'd probably make somewhere around 2,000 to 3,000 additional gold from just vendoring all of the greens instead of disenchanting them. Past that, there are the possible epics. And like I said, this spot seems to be pretty similar if you were comparing the same amount of kills per hour to this spot. It seems pretty similar to any of the other hyper spawning spots in terms of how many epics our groups were getting. Adding those epics on top of it, if you happen to get one, you're going to be adding a good chunk of more gold into this. And also something that's a silver lining from all of these other hyper farming spots getting nerfed is that a lot of the materials are going to be going up in price, and the epics are probably going to be even seeing a bigger boost than the materials are, because this was the main way people would be getting these epics. If you're not doing farms like this, there's a very good chance the majority of people are never going to see a BoE epic, especially this early on in the expansion. So those will definitely see a pretty decent boost in price. So if you happen to get one of those, you'll be making a good chunk of gold. But that's pretty much all I want to go over today. Subscribe if you want to see more WoW or other videos. Leave a like if you liked the video. Leave a comment below what you guys think about this farm spot, and thanks for watching.